It is The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance, released in 2006, a golden year for literally nothing. It was a third album from the New Jersey Natives. To say this defined a generation is such an understatement. Three Cheers, the album before, Three Cheers Sweet Revenge, it was a hit in its own right. And there was an argument for Black Parade versus Three Cheers, and it remains to this day. Based on when and how I grew up, I always thought Three Cheers was more of a sleeper hit that people only sort of started respecting now. I've come to learn I'm completely wrong. I just completely missed that album entirely. I was 12, leave me alone. No, fuck that. I was 10 when Three Cheers came out, so definitely leave me alone. If you were to look back now at old Facebook posts and pictures from back in the day and when you inevitably get to your email phrase, you tell me that the Black Parade had zero impact on any of the fashion choices you made in that period. For me and those around me, everything changed when the Black Parade dropped. I've built friendships that came from a mutual thing of, oh, have you heard that new Nicam album? Yeah, it's fucking incredible. We were a couple of years removed from American Idiot. That came out in 2004. And for the people I knew, we were all American Idiot fans. Because Three Cheers came out that same year, 2004. But everyone I knew, it was all about Green Day. And it was all about American Idiot. American Idiot itself was this huge theatrical punk rock entity that no one could have predicted. Especially on the back of Warning, which is kind of seen as a flop compared to other things Green Day has done. It's even more incredible when you consider Hybrid Theory came out, 2000? And so you've got these two generation-defining albums, one after another, and you think that's it. There can literally be no more. And then you get an album like Black Parade come along. For people who were aware and conscious of Three Cheers, they may have seen the signs that something bigger was coming, and fair play to them. But the first time I saw the music video to Welcome to the Black Parade, I was completely awestruck. Like the outfits, the lyrics, the movie style music video. At the time, based on like where I was living and like my sisters and my mother and just my family in general. At the time, my TV was just Rihanna and Shakira and Nelly Furtado, that like mid 2000s wave of like pop R&B that is just terrible, just awful. And so to say the game got changed is just many other gaming analogies which I thought about putting in there, but they're all shit. Just know the game is fucking different now. After this album, I would see fingerless gloves and checkered belts and huge fringes everywhere. In America, you've got Hot Topic, and I swear in the UK, Blue Banana just appeared out of nowhere from a collective energy of angst. Kind of like how everyone powered up Goku's Spirit Bomb in Dragon Ball. The album opens with the end, and usually I hate intro tracks. Like, I get why they are introducing the listener to the album, but if your album's good enough, then it should stand up alone and it doesn't need that introduction. But whatever it was, usually I hate them, but for this, the life support machine backed opener of Black Parade is one of the few exceptions I can think of, because A, it's flushed out long enough to just be like a short song, and B, and it was all down to the line, I'd encourage your smiles, I'll expect you won't cry. Yeah, I'll try it again. I'd encourage your smiles, I'll expect you won't cry. What a dark and cynical and just evil line that is. The encouragement of a celebration of life that funerals are advertised as, with the whiplash of no strong emotional attachment to the deceased or just being there purely out of obligation as opposed to you like cared for this person, had any sort of emotional attachment to this person. And then from the end, it goes into Dead, which is, it opens with a huge slash style solo. And Ray Toro, the lead guitarist from My Chem, must go down as one of rock's most overlooked guitarists. He loves playing tribute to his heroes. Like, you've got a Queen style solo on I'm Not Okay from the previous album, and in the opening to Welcome to the Black Parade from this album. He takes those classical inspirations, sort of like modernizes them in the same vein. Well, he works in the same vein as Joe from Fall Out Boy. Joe, his playing helps separate, because it was like riffs and actual guitar music. It helps separate Fall Out Boy from the rest of the pack in terms of like that emo-driven pop punk. And Ray does a similar thing here. He sort of separates from the more emo-tinged post-hardcore, post-pop, pop-punk fucking thing. And he does, the way he plays the guitar and the way it does become guitar music, it does separate him from peers, or separate Mike from peers, I should say. And like overall, enough has been said about the singles from Black Parade. I saw someone compare Welcome to Black Parade, the song, to it's like this generation's version of Bohemian Rhapsody, and I think that's fucking spot on. The music video to Famous Last Words has got some of my favourite tidbits of information, facts about in all of music. The floats and the props used in the music video to Welcome to Black Parade, that's what's on fire in the background. And that fire caused second and third degree burns on the legs of drummer Bob Breyer, because he was playing so close to the fire. Breyer also suffered blisters on his hands for just playing so hard for so long during that day of recording, or that day of filming, I should say. Gerard Way tore a bunch of muscles in his leg when he was kneeling down, and rhythm guitarist Frankie Aero tackled him. Ray Toro ended up breaking some of his fingers during the shoot. It's such a cursed music video shoot because they did it on the back of the music video for the lead single, and just little bits like that. Just they put so much. Well, A, they put so much into their art, and B, they were just fucking idiots just messing around. And it's just like little bits like that, man. Little bits like that makes me look so much more interesting than I actually am. But the rest of the album, any one of those songs could have been a single. Like, you've got a song like Mama, which is an eerie, intimate song, and my take for years, up until this morning, was it's all about a soldier of war. Bear in mind, I know the overall story of Black Parade, but for Mama, it was a story of war, of soldier of war, and a feeling of condemnation. He was like doomed in this battlefield, whilst not only did he have to fight in this war, but via letters, he also had to fight this apparently quite abusive and neglectful mother. But as I was researching the song, other people have pointed out that it's a struggle of gender identity, something that Gerard Way has also suffered with. Someone else said it's a continuation for the storyline built upon Ghost of You. And like, there's so many different takes to this song, but it's just such a powerful song in and of itself, the way it opens with the artillery fire. Musically, the build up to the final 2-part breakdown of the song with the song's protagonist just snapping, and then gang vocal of his squadron or his platoon or whatever just in unison as they like solidarity as they go into death or as they go into the final battle. It was a song that sat with me for such a long time because it's just so full of raw emotion and just such raw power. And then on the complete other side of this all, you've got a song like Blood, which is the hidden track at the end of the album. And it's a 90-second vaudeville ditty that happens like after 90 seconds itself of silence. And, you know, the gap between Famous Last Words, which is the second to last song, and this would mean that for anyone else, or for any other album, this song would have been missed. You've got like 90-second gap of silence. Most other people would either skip to the next song to have it start again, or just put a new CD on, or whatever. A testament to this album is that a few weeks ago there was like a emo-themed club night around here. And just before we went out, we were just discussing what songs we think would appear, and we got really excited when we both said, me and a friend of mine said about this song Blood. And as a testament to this album, it's like I said earlier, it's coming up to 13 years old this year. As a testament, we both sang this song word for word. We both knew every single word from the song in some horrifyingly out of tune duet. 13 years after a 90-second hidden track that most people probably would have glossed over if it was any of the album. That's how good this album is, because it kept people in, even in the moments of absolute silence. People were still gripped to find out what would happen next. And like a couple of years ago, we praised Creeper for Eternity in Your Arms. We praised them for having this theatrics about them, or theatre about them, and the drama behind the story that not only they were telling through the music, but the story they were telling outside, like how the band went missing, this like stranger character, the story of it being carried on from EP to EP into album, the little like pictures going on Twitter and that sort of thing. My Chemical Romance managed to do all of this, all the story, all the backstory, all this joie de vivre, if I'm using that term right. They managed to do this in a time before things like Facebook and Twitter. So they did it all just within the album, the music video, the imagery, the iconography. And they were like the band to do it. I know I've said about American Idiot. I cannot pick between American Idiot and this in terms of musically what I prefer and the story being told and how they told it. But as much praise we give bands now with that extra thing of social media, bands like Green Day, and in this particular case, bands like My Chemical Romance, were able to do that just with themselves, them as a band doing it. And MCR always had a dream and a vision to be anti-establishment. Like everything I've heard from Three Cheers, and that's where it started really. It's a Three Cheers. It's like a 30-40 minute long album with just like lightning in a bottle, and just everything they always wanted to do. I think one of the lyrics, I've listened to a podcast the other day, one of the lyrics does talk about being against the grain and like being their own unique personality, and that expands into this. The comparison I'll make is with Gallows, because everything goes back to Gallows with me. They made Orchestra of Wolves to be what they always wanted, and then when they got picked up by a big label and they were given a lot more money, they made the album they've always wanted to make while still being incredibly raw and hardcore. And I don't know, I'm going to have a quick look now to find out what label Three Cheers was. So it's still on Reprise. Yeah, still on Reprise. So I imagine with the success of Three Cheers, they probably would have given them like, hey, have a bit more money because you guys are just doing so well. To take that money and still have their values and still have that vision that is then just exploded into this huge rock opera. It's hard to say that. Well, it is commercially more accessible than Three Cheers, because there's a lot more emo and there's a lot more punk in there, a lot more alternative rock. But MCR had that vision, and with the more money, they did the Gallows route, or the pre-Gallows route in this case, of doing exactly what they wanted, just with more money, which is what we'd all dream of. Just, if we had the money, we'd do what we want. And yeah, I feel like everything that could be said about this band and about this album in particular has been said, but going back and listening to it again, it is just so fucking good. And we won't talk about Danger Days because that was just a bit sad, if I'm honest. With them splitting up, they've always been told. I read something today that I can't remember his name properly. I think it's Kevin Lyman, who does Warped Tour. He tried to get them back to perform at the tour. I think it was this year, a year before, last year. And obviously they haven't done it. They've rejected that offer. And to see where they've all gone. Oh, Frank Iera's got his own solo project. Ray Torres, I read this morning, is enjoying family life. Has got a few like side projects here and there. Gerard had that solo record, Has an Aliens, and then he's recently written Umbrella Academy for, well, he wrote the comic Umbrella Academy. It's then been made into a Netflix series. Would I take My Chem back? At this point, I think they are. When they had that, I still think they would still have that vision of, we want to do what we want because this is the sound we want to be known for. But as well as like we've grown up from this album, a lot of people have grown out of that emo phase and what have you. They've also kind of grown up as well. They're all like, they've got families and like grown adults now. And I don't think, based on what Danger Days was, I'm not sure I'd want the album that they would make now, if that makes sense. I listened to a bit of Conventional Weapons and it was very, very mediocre, in my opinion. From what I remember, it's been fucking years. But I would take him as a live act, providing I could go and see it, or if they released a live album to go along with it. But I don't think I would take a studio My Chemical Romance. I could be completely wrong, and they would make Welcome Back to the Black Parade, at which point I'll be fucking giddy and I'll start crying over everything. But I'm going to err on the side of cynicism and just have this as one of the best memories from my childhood.